Well, I'm tired of fighting this pin, so I'm gonna make a tool here to pull this pin out. So I'm gonna get this cut down, and then I'm gonna drill and tap the outer two holes and have a center hole to bolt to the pin where the zert fitting was. I got a bolt that'll thread right in, so we'll bolt this here, and then when we tighten these two up, it'll push the plate, the bolts against the plate, and it should pull that pin right out. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this down, and it's 3/4 of an inch thick, so it should do pretty decent. So I got my piece cut down to the size I need it. I'm gonna drill my 3 holes out. I gotta drill a fairly small hole here in the middle for the bolt to go in to bolt to the pin. And then I've got to drill and tap the end ones so the bolts will be threaded on those. And then what I'm going to do is for the bottom side is I'm going to take a piece of half here and I'm going to punch a hole in it the size of the pin right in the middle, and then notch it upward so I can slip this over the pin and behind it. So I'll be pushing my bolts against this, and this whole area will be pushing against the leaf spring and the bushing to get this pin out. So hopefully this works. It should, in theory. Here's the other pin I did get out. So I've got the size that I need to make all my holes and stuff and for the pin, so I'm using this to mock up my tool so I can get this other pin out, and then hopefully it'll help us with the rest of them. All right, I got our piece up in the machine that we're going to punch the hole right in the middle, and then I will notch it upward so that piece will slide in, and then the 2 bolts on the other piece will push against this plate, and therefore pulling the pin out. So I'm gonna set this off to the side. When I punch 1/2-inch plate with this machine, it really jumps. I mean, it's a heck of a hole getting ready to be punched in some 1/2-inch. Make sure I get my hole centered up where I want it. Yep, all right. It jumps a little bit, but cuts a hole in it. It might be a little sketchy, but it works. And the rest of it I'll cut out with a die grinder and clean it up, but that's a lot better than having to cut all of it. Well, I got the first hole drilled, and I know this is a little off topic, but here's something pretty neat that I tried building before. It didn't work out because I need to build a pressure relief for it and made way too much pressure. But I took a AC compressor and welded the clutch up in a spot, so right here. So it was always locked to the pump side. I've even tried taking it apart and loosening the pump up on it as far as bending the diaphragms in it to make it pump less. Well, then it quit pumping, so I got to bend it back straight. But I just run it off the V-belt setup here, and the way it was supposed to work was your inlet. I had a big tray made up that I set under here with a drain pan, and I'd used engine oil. And I took an adapter that threaded in an oil filter and just stuck in the drum so it'd pull clean oil in, but it's used motor oil, so it's a good byproduct of it. And then up here I had made a steel tube that came down and smashed it at the end, and it would spit out at the end of the drill bit. But unfortunately this thing made like 300 psi and it sprayed oil absolutely everywhere. So I gotta go back to the drawing board on doing some stuff with that. But that is probably gonna be in a future video, fixing the drill press where it's actually got its own oiling system, because it's a lot better than having to spray this every 5 seconds. All right, I'm gonna drill the last of the first 3 holes. Then I've got to drill all the holes again. This is just my pilot hole, but we'll get to drilling. All right, we've got all 3 holes done. So I'm gonna figure out what size bolts I'm gonna use and get a tap and see what size drill bit I need for that tap. Sheet here, and we're gonna go with half 13, which half 13 at 75% of gripping force or strength. That's a 27/64 drill bit. So we're gonna drill the end 2 holes out to that. I'll probably go ahead and do the middle one too, and we'll get it tapped and go from there. Well, I got one side tapped. I just gotta get the other side tapped, and then I'm ready to test out the puller. So here's the pin that's stuck in there. Let's see if I can get a good shot of it. But the pin is stuck in there, and it won't let it come past this to get the leaf spring out. So I gotta get that pin pulled out, and it's been fighting me because it'll spin, but it's froze to the bushing, and the bushing and all won't come out. And so I've made the puller that you guys have just seen, but I actually didn't have to notch it. I don't know why I thought I was gonna have to notch it, but anywho. So this will slide here, and it'll push against the leaf spring itself. It's the size of the shaft itself. Then I'll put the other piece and bolt it on right here, and then tighten the 2 bolts up against this, and it will pull this out. So I'm gonna put it all together and we'll see how it works. This is old. Got the puller in. It's hard to see when I get it. I'm gonna try it, see what it does. When I get it pulled out, I'll show a video of how it worked.